In this heartfelt video, we pay tribute to the stars we've recently lost, honoring their remarkable legacies and unforgettable contributions. Trump rally shooter died. Tragedy struck at a Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, this past Saturday. A suspected gunman opened fire, leading to a fatal encounter with law enforcement and leaving several attendees injured. Here's what we know so far. Authorities confirmed that the suspected gunman was fatally shot by a Secret Service sniper after opening fire during the rally. The incident left one rally attendee dead and two others critically wounded. The Secret Service released a statement Saturday night, detailing that the gunman was outside the cordoned rally area, approximately 200 to 300 feet away. Positioned on top of an elevated structure believed to be a shed, the suspect was armed with an AR-style rifle. As former President Donald Trump was speaking around 6:15 p.m. local time, several shots rang out. Video footage shows Trump reacting immediately, touching his ear and crouching to the ground as Secret Service agents rushed to secure him. Blood was seen on his face, but he stood up, held his fist to the crowd, and was quickly escorted to safety. The Secret Service later confirmed that he was unharmed. The FBI identified the shooter as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Authorities are investigating the shooting as an attempted assassination. Kevin Royak, the special agent in charge of the FBI Pittsburgh office, mentioned that suspicious packages were found near the shooter's location, prompting bomb squad intervention to ensure safety. Ben Mesa, a rally attendee, told CBS Pittsburgh that he saw the suspect moving between roofs and alerted an officer before the shooting began. When I turned around to go back to where I was, it was when the gunshots started, and then it was just chaos, Mesa said. Rep. Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania, who was backstage during the rally, reported seeing a woman hit by the gunfire. Dr. Tim Sweetland, an emergency room physician, administered first aid to a man with a gunshot wound to the head, but the victim appeared gravely ill. Two Pennsylvania State Police troopers arrived and transported the victim to receive medical attention. Another rally attendee, Republican Senate candidate David McCormick, also witnessed the chaos and recounted seeing another person shot. Following the incident, Trump's motorcade left Butler Memorial Hospital around 9:30 p.m. local time. He was seen deboarding his plane at Newark Liberty International Airport early Sunday morning. The former president had originally planned to travel to his Bedminster estate before heading to Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention. As the investigation continues, our thoughts are with the victims and their families. We will keep you updated as more details emerge. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for the latest news and updates. Hollywood stars Shelley Duvall. We remember Shelley Duvall, an actress who captivated audiences with her unique talents and unforgettable roles. Shelley Duvall has passed away at the age of 75 from complications of diabetes, peacefully in her sleep at her home in Blanco, Texas. Duvall's partner, Dan Gilroy, shared, "My dear, sweet, wonderful life partner and friend left us too much suffering lately. Now she's free. Fly away, beautiful Shelley." With her big, expressive eyes and the ability to portray both neurotic and utterly terrified characters, Shelley Duvall reached the heights of Hollywood stardom. Among her most iconic roles were Wendy Torrance in The Shining and L.A. Joan in Nashville. Duvall's career was launched in 1970 by film director Robert Altman, who cast her in Brewster McCloud. Despite having no prior acting experience, Duvall's unique presence caught Altman's attention, leading her to regularly appear in his films, such as Maccabi and Mrs. Miller, Thieves Like Us, Nashville, and Buffalo Bill and the Indians. One of Duvall's most memorable roles was in Stanley Kubrick's 1980 film The Shining. She starred opposite Jack Nicholson, playing Wendy Torrance, a character who endures unimaginable horror as her husband descends into madness at an isolated hotel. In Altman's Nashville, Duvall played L.A. Joan, a teenage groupie navigating the country music scene. The film, A satire with a complex web of storylines and musical numbers, remains both celebrated and controversial. Following Nashville, Duvall's career continued to flourish with roles in Annie Hall, Three Women, Popeye, and many more. She also ran her own production company, developing award-winning children's programs. Duvall openly struggled with mental health issues and stepped away from Hollywood in the early 2000s. Yet, in 2023, she made a triumphant return to the screen in the indie horror film The Forest Hills. Throughout her life, Duvall earned numerous accolades, including a Best Actress award at the Cannes Film Festival, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, Film Critics Association Awards, and a Peabody Award. As we bid farewell to Shelley Duvall, we celebrate her extraordinary talent and the indelible mark she left on the world of cinema. Her legacy will continue to inspire and captivate audiences for generations to come. European modernist paintings. Alex Janvier. We pay tribute to Alex Janvier, a pioneering force in contemporary Indigenous art in Canada. Alex Janvier passed away on July 10th at the age of 89. His family confirmed the news on Instagram, and a moment of silence was held in his honor at the Assembly of First Nations annual general meeting. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau honored Janvier's legacy, stating, "His art reflected so much of Canada's history, including some of the hardest parts of our story." Janvier's work is renowned for its vivid abstractions that evoke the natural world and address the historical mistreatment of First Nations people. As Janvier once said, "Painting says it all for me. It is the Redmond talk in color, in North America's language, our creator's voice in color." Born in 1935 on the Cold Lake Indian Reserve in Alberta, Janvier was one of 10 children. At 8 years old, he was sent to the Blue Quills Residential School, an experience that profoundly impacted his life and art. Despite these challenges, Janvier's talent shone through early, and he began taking art classes at the University of Alberta in his teens. Influenced by European modernists like Wassily Kandinsky, Paul Klee, and Joan Mayer, Janvier enrolled at Alberta's Provincial Institute of Technology and Art, where he was taught by notable Canadian artists. After graduation, he pursued art full-time, becoming a painter, illustrator, and teacher. In 1973, Janvier CEO founded the Indian Group of Seven, formerly known as the Professional Native Indian Artists Inc., alongside Novel Morisseau, Jackson Beardy, Daphne Ojic, Cole Ray, Joe Sanchez, and Jackson Beardy. They staged exhibitions across Canada, transforming perceptions of Indigenous art. Janvier's work is celebrated in public spaces across Alberta and held in prominent Canadian collections. His mosaic, Iron Foot Place, adorns the floor of Edmonton's Rogers Place, and his mural Morning Star Gambie then spans 418 square meters in the Canadian Museum of History in Gatineau, Quebec. Caroline Dromagat, President and CEO of the Canadian Museum of History, stated, "His monumental work is a centerpiece of our museum. Looking up to discover this work is an unforgettable experience, and I am comforted to know that Janvier's legacy will live on." Janvier's contributions earned him numerous accolades, including the Order of Canada, the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal, and the Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Aboriginal Achievement Foundation. He also opened the Janvier Gallery in Cold Lake, Alberta, where he continued to create and inspire until his passing. As we remember Alex Janvier, we celebrate his extraordinary talent and enduring impact on the world of art. His ability to capture the beauty and pain of his heritage through vibrant colors and forms will forever inspire future generations. Air Force, Joe Engle. We remember the incredible life and legacy of Joe Engle, the only astronaut to have piloted both the X-15 aircraft and a space shuttle. Joe Engle passed away in Houston on Wednesday, July 10th, at the age of 91. Joe Engle, a retired U.S. Air Force Major General, was the last surviving X-15 pilot, born in Kansas, Engle graduated with an aeronautical engineering degree from the University of Kansas in 1955. He began his journey in the skies through the Air Force ROTC program, quickly making a name for himself. In June 1965, Engle piloted the X-15 to an astounding altitude of 280,600 feet. 3 of his 16 flights in the X-15 exceeded the 50-mile altitude required for astronaut rating. At the age of 32, Engle became the youngest pilot to ever qualify as an astronaut for NASA. He commanded one of the 2 crews for the Space Shuttle Enterprise's approach and landing test missions in 1977, setting the stage for future space exploration. In November 1981, Engle commanded the 2nd flight of the Space Shuttle Columbia, becoming the first and only pilot to manually fly an aerospace vehicle from Mach 25 to landing in August 1985. He commanded the Space Shuttle Discovery, one of the most challenging missions ever, showcasing his exceptional skills and courage. Joe Engle's career spanned across 185 different types of aircraft, logging 14,700 flight hours. His distinguished service earned him numerous awards, including the NASA Distinguished Service Medal, NASA Exceptional Service Medal, and NASA Space Flight Medal. Vanessa Witchey, director of NASA's Johnson Space Center, said, "As we mourn the immense loss of Joe, we're thankful for his notable contributions to the advancement of human spaceflight. Joe's accomplishments and legacy of perseverance will continue to inspire and impact generations of explorers for years to come." Joe Engle's wife, Jeannie, described him as a loving husband, father, and grandfather. General Joe, as he was known to many, was at his happiest in any cockpit, always with a smile. He lived a fulfilled life as a proud American, U.S. Air Force pilot, astronaut, and Kansas Jayhawk. Tributes poured in from fellow astronauts and admirers. Mike Massimino wrote, "We have lost a true American hero. Godspeed, my friend." NASA Administrator Bill Nelson remarked, "He was one of the first astronauts I met at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. I'll never forget his big smile, his warmth, and his courage." Singers Tommy Drennan. We remember the life and legacy of Tommy Drennan, a beloved figure in the Irish showband scene of the 1960s and 70s. Tommy passed away peacefully at Milford Care Centre, surrounded by his loving family. On Thursday morning, he was 76 years old. Born and raised in Janesboro, Tommy's musical journey began early as a boy soprano with the Redemptorist Choir. He recorded a now famous rendition of O Holy Night at Mount St. Alphonsus Church. This recording, which he later re-released as a duet with his younger self, remains a cherished memory for many. In 1963, Tommy joined the Freshmen, but it was with the Monarchs that he truly made his mark. Invited by founder Jim Conley, Tommy became the lead singer of the band, propelling them to become one of the biggest names in Ireland. For 8 years, the Monarchs were a major draw in ballrooms across the country. In 1972, Tommy formed his own band, Top League, and continued to delight audiences with his beautiful tenor voice. His hits and performances solidified his status as a showband legend. Sean Udode, who worked closely with Tommy, described him as a fantastic person and a magnificent singer. His powerful performances of Our Holy Night were unforgettable, moving audiences night after night. In later years, Tommy dedicated himself to nurturing the next generation of performers. He co-founded Ennis Performing Arts and worked with Expressive Arts Theatre School, leaving an indelible mark on countless young talents. Tommy Miskill, now a London correspondent with RT, was one of Tommy's pupils. He fondly recalls how Tommy brought out the best in every student, saying, "He managed to get a good sense of each child and play to their strengths. He wasn't just about creating performers, but about helping kids grow and express themselves." Tommy is survived by his loving wife of 60 years, Alice, his children Linda, Tom, John, and Brian, and his adored grandchildren. His legacy as a musician, educator, and beloved family man will continue to inspire all who knew him.